Could you imagine an All-Stars game in Super Rugby, Husey? Imagine the best players maybe in New Zealand playing the best players in Australia and not the Bledisloe on the line. Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm thinking, okay, just stick with me here. You obviously see the NBA, you see their All-Star game, you see the Pro Bowl. I'm just thinking, could we have a weekend like that where we have all the best goal kickers having a bit of fun with goal kicking, where we have a goal kicking competition, where we have a 40-metre sprint, 100-metre sprint competition. We just get a weekend of fun. And it finishes with a game of rugby. Now, what I would like to see is an all-star team selected of players in positions where they play. Now, the issue we have is obviously very similar to what the NFL and NBA have at the moment, is how do we make this competitive without players getting injured? So could this be a game of flag rugby? Could it be a game of touch rugby? Game of touch rugby? Could you imagine seeing a bit of that? So I'm just thinking an all-stars game, a weekend where we can see the best rugby players having a bit of fun. For or against it?
I am for it, but I'm not for the Australia versus New Zealand divide. I think there is already enough of a divide in Super Rugby in that sense, and I think you're not adding anything new there, right? Because you're getting sort of that in the Wallabies versus the All Blacks. However, there does need to be a divide, people. And I propose we do it geographically, but not in the Tasman Sea boundary that we usually see. 90-degree turn. North versus south. North Island of New Zealand versus South Island of New Zealand. Northern part of Australia versus southern part of Australia. So you have a team of, like, from Australia, the northern part of Australia, you'd have Australia and Queensland, and then plus the teams from the North Island of, or some of the teams from the North Island of New Zealand, and then plus Fiji, for example, versus Force, Rebels, ACT, South Island teams, Moana Pacifica, and you combine them that way. Now, isn't that interesting? Thinking about having some of the All Blacks players on the same team as some of the Wallabies players in a game of touch football with some of the Fijian players mixed in there and the Moana Pacific players mixed in there. How interesting would that be? Or, alternatively, another one, instead of it being you do have an All-Stars thing, but do it like a Pro Bowl, right, where you have the best two props picked, or it would be the best four props picked, best two hookers, best 4 second rowers, best 4 flankers, best 2 number 8s, best 2... And then you have 2 celebrity coaches. Yes. 2 celebrity coaches pick their team, right? You have a draft, right? Or you have a panel of... Like, imagine you had some former Wallabies players and some former New Zealand players picking their teams and things like that. So imagine you have coaching stuff of, you say, have like, Drew Mitchell and Sonny Bill Williams as one set of coaches, Morgan Turanui and
Justin Marshall.
There you go, as another set of coaches, and they pick their
I love that idea. Yeah. That's a fantastic idea of way of doing it. You just have your players get selected, and you do it like the Pro Bowl. You do fan voting votes. Fan votes plus internal player votes, and then you have waiting assisted. Yeah, and then you have and then what I guess. Now we've got our setup. So that's our setup. We go, it's a game of touch. Yeah. So again...
And even then, the touch makes it so good because you get to see the props have some ball skills and things like that. Exactly. They're not just picking and driving, going into mauls.
And then what other one-off competitions? Like I've mentioned a goal-kicking one. I think that would be awesome. Maybe even a how far you can punt one, like a punt off.
I've got a great one for you. Scrum drive. You have the scrum machine, who can drive... You can progressively load up the scrum machine with more weights and who can push it 10 metres or something.
I love that. So there's scrum drive.
Line-out throwing, accurate
line-out throwing.
Yeah, things like, trick line-out throws or something like that.
Exactly.
There's so many rugby skills available.
That we could do. So it's a plus. I think we find a way to get an all-stars Super Rugby competition or event happening.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, we've got it sorted for you, Super Rugby.
Come knocking at our doors and we'll deliver it.
You've got your Super Rugby round, the Super round. Imagine you have...
All-Star Weekend.
You have your All-Star Weekend, yeah.
I can imagine first day, let's say it's at Allianz, first day is all the skill drills and competitions.
Drills. Yep.
and then the second day's the game. So on a Friday, Friday afternoon, you just have those drills happen.
10 aside, so you've got 5 reserves, things like that.
Bang. Oh, we are
cracked it. We cracked it.
We're special. These 2 minds here, they'll take us a long way. Again, as we always have on the Sports Booth, we'd love to hear your opinion.
Yep.
Would an all-star game work? Would you want to see some drills in there that we haven't mentioned? Mm-hmm. Who do you think should be the captains of the all-star? Should we bring a John Eales back? A John Eales or a George Gregan versus Jeff Wilson? Could we imagine a bit of that? A bit of, knock on? Or a George Gregan versus Byron Callagher for a bit of 4 more years, boys? What do you want to see? What would work? But for now, that's our ideas. I've been Luke. That's been Husey. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Goodbye.
Peace.